So you've just launched here, Lon, and you're up on Errol's Knob, are you?
Yep, that's the one really good climb I got all day.
So everybody who wants to do this 50k flight will be very familiar with this sort of territory.
So that little loop-de-doo is where I had a drop out of positions, and that happens 4 times or so in this flight, and that little black out there is where I cut out those missing positions.
And on the right there's a map of your flight, and down on the bottom there's the height running along, fast changing. You're 6,400 feet at the moment. You can keep track of the height. And you're staying on top of the ridges here. You're coming up to Lake Angeles, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was real conscious of not getting below the ridge. There's Lake Angeles. This was the first real cross-country flight that I ever did, so I'd been up this ridge a few times, but this next step over to the mole tops was daunting.
So this is Mount Cupola that you're on top of here.
Right.
You're coming back now towards Mount Hopeless. So you're just spending your time. 50k, you know, you can spend all day to do 50k. It's not a long flight for a cross-country pilot, experienced cross-country pilot, but you know, it can be a very seminal one for someone who's never done it, and particularly this one here where we've got all these mountains. But here you're in good height. What height are we now? We're 7,000 feet. We can see at the bottom of our screen, and you're an easy final glide of Lake Station, aren't you? You've just crossed over the Mahunga Range and just kept going at so much height.
Right.
Now you're on the mole tops. Now you're in quite a relaxed place to be, because look down there, there's that big farm with paddocks. I know they're growing hops in it. So you probably need to update your knowledge of that, what's happening down there on Mount Ella Station and Matakitaki Station. But you see, you're an easy glide of somewhere to land, and you will be an easy glide of somewhere to land down there on the rest of this whole flight. And I think that's the advantage of this recommendation, to do 50k this way.
Yes, on this flight I actually had entered a task to go to Springs Junction, but I don't think it would have been within my capabilities to get over that next ridge and get over there. I wasn't comfortable. You can see I'm trying to gain as much height as I can, like you said, taking every thermal. And okay, so now I'm pretty comfortable. I'm 8,600 feet.
Yeah. And if you've got any sort of measurement of what LD you have back to Matakitaki Station, there's a big airstrip there. You know, you're very comfortable in terms of somewhere to land, and you can kind of see it most of the time too, which is quite reassuring.
Yeah, this whole time you could, if I looked off to the north there, it'll come into sight here in a minute.
So you've just flown 50 k's away from, well, you had a turn point, didn't you, to go to?
No, I didn't. I just was watching. I think I flew 54k away from the launch point, the release point. So I was watching my GPS.
Yeah. Well, that's, and you did get a silver badge out of that, didn't you, by establishing the turn point post-flight and so on. So it certainly will meet the requirements for the BXCP 50k flight.
So here I'm still almost at 7,000 feet, you know, crossing over the Buller Valley, and I'm just dissipating altitude.
So the flight's really finished now, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's the lake station just down below, and you're going for a bit of a play in the air while you're still...
Yes.
While you're in the air, you're having a further play in the air.
Yeah, I mean, on OLC it was scored as 180 some kilometers. There's a big dropout where between Glen Hope and going over to Mount Murchison. And then coming back to land.
So you went from Mount Cupola across the Mahunga Range and on to the Ella Range. And another way of doing it would be from Mount Cedric to Mount Misery, top up there, and then onto the mole tops. You did it a pretty comfortable way with plenty of height.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I left Mount Cupola, I was sure that I could get over the hills, the two intervening hills to the Matakataki land out. And there is a divide in there, but it's also mostly downhill down to the Tutaki airstrips.
Yeah, you're talking about the country in front of the mole tops being
Yeah.
relatively low
Yeah,
country to get around into landable farmland in the Matakitaki Valley that includes the Tutaki Valley. Oh, well, I think that's done now, but
all right, great, thanks.